Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline. Chapter 51. Plans for Shuhang, where the martial arts department is located. In the office, several teachers sat looking at each other, including the teacher who led the team of the martial arts department during the last dream relic. At this moment, each of them had a gloomy look on their faces, and their expressions were depressed. This dream relic experience, our martial arts department has suffered a lot, said the leading teacher of the martial arts department, with a gloomy expression. Opposite the teacher who led the team, another teacher said, "Today, I just received a notice from the school that the activity funds of our martial arts department may be reduced in the future. That funding must have gone to the logistics department." The teacher who led the team said with shame and anger in his tone. The limelight allowed them to take all of the courtyard, and the benefits also allowed them to take all of the courtyard. This time, their martial arts department not only missed the champion of liberal arts, but also lost the first place for freshmen in the relics experience. The second freshman, an extraordinary bloodline fit, actually moved his mind and wanted to go to the logistics department. It is said that before the transfer procedures were completed, he went to the logistics department to attend a lecture. The appearance that he couldn't wait to transfer to the hospital made the teachers of the martial arts department all beaten. On the other hand, the logistics department not only won a liberal arts champion, but also allowed their logistics department to refresh the school's record. It's just a waste of picking up a super genius. The super bloodline is not a bad street, you can have it if you want, and their martial arts department can only produce one for many years. Not only that, but the logistics department also received resources from the school because of its good grades. And these should all belong to their martial arts department. Now it has become the wedding dress of the logistics department. If this continues, the brain drain of their martial arts department will be very serious. This time the monster relics experience will definitely not make them complacent again. A teacher sitting in the first place became cold. After all, this time is a physical relic, and casualties are very normal. If Shuhang dies in the monster ruins, I can't blame anyone else. After speaking, he smiled mysteriously. Ellipsis 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 dot. The location of the martial arts department classrooms. This time, everything about the monster ruins has been explained. After everyone goes down, be sure to prepare well. Get out of class. On the podium, after explaining all the precautions of Wan, the teacher issued an order to dismiss the get out of class. Afterwards, the students in the classroom walked out of the classroom one after another, preparing to eat. Shang Feng also followed the crowd. After he was ready to leave the classroom, he went directly to the training room. This time, he was determined to achieve dazzling results and let everyone remember him. Shang Feng. Just as Shang Feng was walking with the crowd and was about to leave the classroom door, a voice suddenly sounded behind him. He looked back and saw that the teacher was calling him. Shang Feng, come with me. I have something important to tell you. The teacher on the podium waved to Shang Feng, then left the classroom and took Shang Feng into a hidden office. Shang Feng, who do you think has more potential between you and Shuhang from the logistics department? The teacher asked Shang Feng. Hearing Shuhang's name, Shang Feng, who was originally expressionless, suddenly had a look of hatred on his face. Ha, Shuhang, it's just luck. I happened to come across a ruin that tests my spiritual power. I strengthened my strength a little bit, and got the first place. What potential can a person who fits the bloodline of a waste product? This monster relic is not a test of spiritual power. I'm compatible with Master Roshi, and it won't be long before I can step on him. Shang Feng was a little excited, and it was obvious that Shuhang's first place had a big impact on him. Opposite him, seeing Shang Feng's angry expression, he nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. Then Shuhang is just lucky. The teacher of our martial arts department is still more optimistic about you. Really? Shang Feng was surprised when he heard that the martial arts teacher was more optimistic about him. The teacher nodded, of course. This time, our martial arts department has arranged a mysterious mission for you. After speaking, the teacher spread his palms. A mysterious scroll appeared in the teacher's hand, and on the scroll, a gorgeous golden light flashed. Immediately afterwards, the scroll slowly floated from the teacher's hand and floated in front of Shang Feng. Looking at the mysterious golden scroll in front of him, Shangfeng looked a little confused. Teacher, what is this? Hehe, this is the seal scroll. The teacher smiled slightly. In the scroll, the strongest blow of the mysterious powerhouse is sealed. Its strength, up to king level. Hearing this, Shang Feng's face was suddenly shocked. He didn't understand why the teacher gave him this. A blow from a king level powerhouse. He didn't know how strong it was, but he knew that this scroll must be very precious, and it was a king level attack. This scroll can be used as the last thing to save life. Then Shuhang, who took the first place in the freshmen, can't help being defiant and may even bully his classmates. How can the students of our martial arts department be bullied by outsiders? At that time, in the ruins, if that Shuhang bullies his classmates, you will use this to resist him, understand? Hearing this, Shang Feng suddenly realized what had happened. He smiled happily. Understood. If that Shuhang dares to bully me, I will definitely resist him. And Shu Xiaojia, the same is true, the teacher emphasized. Hearing this, Shang Feng looked surprised. She really transferred to the logistics department. The teacher did not answer. In this relic experience, in order to ensure your safety and ensure your success, we have also arranged a master to protect you. This classmate should have been 1 year higher than you, but because of going out to practice, the entrance exam was delayed, so he was kept in grades. He is a super genius. At the beginning of the freshman combat power test, he was also the first place, with a value close to 400, even more powerful than that Shu Xiaojia. Not only that, but after a year of training abroad, he has become a middle-level master with a strength value of nearly 700. It is definitely more than enough to deal with Shuhang, who has a combat strength of 500. Hearing the teacher's arrangement, Shang Feng was immediately excited, and his hands were shaking with excitement. Grab the golden scroll and look forward. Teacher, don't worry, with the scroll and that talented classmate, I will definitely be able to complete the task. Hehe, Shuhang, monster ruins, casualties are normal, no one can suspect me. And that Shu Xiaojia, who actually betrayed me and ran to assist that Shuhang, not a single one can escape. You all have to die. I am the only genius this year. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 52. Chapter 52. Chapter 52. Kamehameha. Practice. The introduction to the ruins is complete. Get out of class. At the same time, in the classroom of the logistics department, teacher Shu Tian announced the dismissal of the get out of class after introducing everything. Immediately, the originally quiet classroom suddenly became noisy. Ah, the teacher finally finished. The ruins this time seem to be very different. All the monsters in the ruins are sleeping under the ground. How do I feel that we have them here? Maybe one day they will break out of the ground. Don't talk nonsense. There are so many martial arts masters, there are really fierce beasts underground, and they have been discovered long ago. Don't go to the cafeteria today. Before entering the ruins, let's have a good meal at the end. Going to have a good meal at the end. It's like a guillotine. It seems that you don't plan to come back alive. After class, the students started chatting with each other. When the last student walks out of the classroom, Shu Heng ran to the podium and looked at Shu Tian, who had not left yet. Teacher, Shu Tian, who was packing his things, raised his head in surprise. Shu Heng. What's the matter with me? Also, are you really sure this time? Do you want to choose a nightmare level difficulty? This risk is quite large, you have to consider it carefully. I've already decided to choose the nightmare level, don't think about it anymore, Shu Heng replied affirmatively. Then, he asked Shushan, Teacher, I have a question, why does Shangfeng of the martial arts department have Kamehameha, but I don't? This, can you give me one? You want to learn Kamehameha? Shu Tian was a little surprised, he didn't expect Shu Heng to make such a request. By convention, Son Goku bloodline fit people, because of their poor talent, are not authorized to learn Kamehameha. However, you are obviously an exception. Even the Son Goku bloodline should be able to learn. Wait a minute, and Shushan began to search for the tome of Kamehameha. Hearing the teacher's words, Shu Heng looked a little weird. Son Goku blood, it's too bad that he doesn't have permission to learn Kamehameha. You know, in Dragon Ball, Kamehameha is also Son Goku's signature skill. But in this world, there is no chance to learn. What the hell did Son Goku do? However, Shuhang is certain that even if someone chooses Son Goku again, the outcome might not be much better. Saiyan's bloodline is strong because of his tenacity and his pursuit of martial arts. At the beginning, Saiyan had the entire planet, all of which were Saiyan blood. Wasn't it destroyed by Frieza, and only a few survived? A powerful bloodline also depends on who fits it. As for Shuhang's ability to progress so much, it is mainly because of his near-death experience, and he has died n times on the 5th floor, and every time he is resurrected, it will double. The method of entering a special near-death state, Shuhang is very sure, this world, for the time being, only he knows. So the latecomers, choosing Son Goku, don't make much sense, because they don't know that special method. Afterwards, Shuhang shook his head, not thinking about it. Taking the Kamehameha cheat book from Shu Tian, Shuhang left the classroom and ran directly to the gravity training room. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. After 7 days, gravity training indoors. Call. After completing the last set of planned training sessions, Shuhang lay on the ground. During these 7 days, Shuhang was basically training day and night. It can be said that he completely lived in the gravity training room. At the beginning, the training effect was remarkable, and his strength increased greatly again. Over time, however, that sense of limit reappeared. He felt that the speed of strength growth slowed down again. Now training, the effect has been very poor. I can't do regular training anymore, Shuhang, who was lying on the ground, said to himself. Unless the gravity level is increased to a larger value, the effect will be too small. However, even if the gravity level is increased, it will take a long time to accumulate training to be effective. If you want to improve your strength in a short time, you need new methods. After speaking, Shuhang took out 2 ancient books. One was asked by teacher Shushan, Kamehameha. There is another one, which is the flying technique given by Ling Kangfang in order to win him over. This magical technique that can make people below the king level float in the air has a miraculous effect at special times. He hopes to learn these 2 new moves before entering the ruins. In this way, when he is in the ruins and encounters major dangers, he can better deal with it. In particular, flying technique. This kind of exercise that can make people float in the air is simply an artifact when escaping. Before, when he was in the dream ruins, he saw Shu Xiaojia use it. It can be said, if not the magic of flying technique, Shu Xiaojia may have been eliminated from the ruins as early as the 2nd layer of dreams. So, over the next few days, Shuhang devoted himself to the study of flying technique and Kamehameha. Ellipsis 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 dot. I don't know how many days have passed. Gravity training indoor. A figure stood in the sky, floating about 2 meters above the ground. It is Shuhang who is in practice. Obviously, Shuhang's cultivation has achieved a little, and he can really float in the air. However, Shuhang at this time is not practicing flying technique, but another exercise. I saw that at this time of Shuhang, Zhou Shen exuded a strong aura. His hands were folded together at the waist on the right side, and in the middle of his palms, a ball of light radiated dazzling light. And as time went by, the ball of light became bigger and bigger, and the light emitted became stronger and stronger, even covering Shuhang's whole body. Afterwards, Shuhang shouted loudly and pushed out with both hands. Turtle, Pi, Chi, Gong. Immediately afterwards, a huge beam of light rose into the sky from Shuhang's hand. In an instant, the beam of light slammed on the wall of the training room with a loud bang. The entire training room seemed to be shaking. Outside the training room, the gatekeeper's closed eyes suddenly opened, looking in the direction of the training room. This guy, what are you doing? The training room is very expensive. In the training room, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the cracks that were blasted out from the walls of the specially made materials that were strong enough to resist the king-level attack. Kamehameha finally got it done. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 53. Chapter 53. Chapter 53. This is the real Kamehameha. In the gravity training room, the crack on the wall wriggled for a while, then repaired and disappeared. Self-repair, as expected of a lot of money. Seeing the disappearing crack, Shuhang was surprised. Just now, he was so excited that he released the Kamehameha. The moment he made the move, he felt a little regretful, and he was afraid that the training room would be damaged. However, the strength of this gravity training room is beyond imagination. This is the real Kamehameha, Shuhang exclaimed, recalling the huge beam of light just now. In the dream ruins before, he saw Shang Feng used Kamehameha. But that Shang Feng's strength is too poor, and even a complete beam of light cannot be condensed. After accumulating for a long time, only one ball was released in the end, and even the ordinary alien was not killed, which really damaged Kamehameha's name. Feeling the results of these few days of training, Shuhang was very excited. According to his own estimation, under normal conditions now, his combat power value is estimated to be close to 1000. Without using any martial arts skills, with conventional strength and hard power, even if he encounters a real great master, he will have the power to fight. If Kamehameha is used, his attack power will definitely be stronger after a period of charging. In addition, due to Saiyan Bloodline, the anger state will also increase his attack power. Of course, that one is less stable and requires strict emotional control. Of course, the critical moment, the state of anger, can also be used. Moreover, most importantly, Shuhang has successfully mastered the usage of qi by self-taught, which is a key factor for him to successfully perform Kamehameha and flying technique. Is this qi? Shuhang said to himself, feeling the mysterious energy surrounding his body. It is through this mysterious power that he can stand in the air. If now, I use the power of qi and perform the flying technique normally, the speed can reach 400 km per hour, which is basically the speed of all super sports cars. Even, it's faster than many small helicopters, the magic skill of rushing. There is still strength. Now it is estimated that it is no problem to face the third-order beast. The power of beasts is usually greater than that of humans at the same level. However, having the Saiyan bloodline and having undergone hard training, he is now fully confident in suppressing beasts of the same rank. The growth of strength has slowed down again. It is just by taking advantage of this monster relic to find opportunities and make new breakthroughs. Thinking of this, Shuhang calculated the time to enter the third ruin, took a short rest, and walked towards the outside of the training room. Outside the door, Shuhang looked surprised when he saw Shuhang walking out of the training room. Young man, after staying for so long, you finally came out. The school is about to leave for the ruins, and it's calling for new students. I'm going to call you. Come on, don't miss it. Hearing the uncle's urging, Shuhang didn't delay, and hurried to the gathering point. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. After Shuhang arrived at the school meeting point, all the students had already arrived. Shuhang. He heard a female voice calling him, that was Shu Xiaojia's voice. So, he walked straight over. In front of the crowd in the logistics department, Shu Tian waved his hand when he saw that everyone had arrived. Set off. Then, everyone got in the car and went straight to the monster ruins. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Where the ruins are located. 3 huge monster statues, standing high in the sky, or in an equilateral triangle. If Shuhang was here, he would definitely recognize the name of this monster, it was Godzilla. There is a giant circle in the middle of the triangular area surrounded by the 3 Godzilla statues. The array is engraved with complex and mysterious lines, and a mysterious light shines from time to time. At this moment, around the ruins, there is no energy shield like the last dream ruins. Some are layer upon layer of military trenches, and the relics are surrounded by 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. The trenches are full of various machine gun weapons and various heavy artillery shells. Outside the trenches, circles of anti-collision fences surround the ruins. Team after team of military teams, holding laser lights, constantly patrolled around the ruins. The West 4th District has been tested, and there is no abnormality so far. The South 6th District has been tested, and there is no abnormality so far. The patrol's announcement sounded continuously. In addition, there are radar scanners, which are constantly rotating, detecting any energy anomalies that may have just appeared around them at any time. Different from the previous dream ruins, this time, there is a huge open space beside the ruins. In the open space, in addition to the army green cars, there are also many white cars, and the warning lights are constantly flashing on the white cars. Suddenly, in this strict and slightly noisy environment, a slightly cheerful voice sounded. Wow, it's finally here. Immediately afterwards, one school bus after another drove into the ruins. The students got off the bus one after another and observed their surroundings curiously. Suddenly, a surprised voice sounded. Look, that white car, isn't that an ambulance? Everyone looked towards where the voice was pointing. Suddenly, there were discussions everywhere. Fuck, it's true. This is not for us. So exaggerated. I want to live another 2 years. So many ambulances. How many casualties this monster ruins get every year. For a time, a panicked mood spread out. However, when Shuhang saw this scene, he was more and more looking forward to it. After mastering the flying technique in Kamehameha, he could just practice his skills in the Godzilla ruins. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 54. Chapter 54. Chapter 54. I choose Nightmare Difficulty. Outside the ruins, the students looked at the ambulances in the surrounding open space, with messy expressions on their faces. I'm just a freshman in college. I've come to practice and I've prepared an ambulance. How terrifying is this monster ruin? How many casualties are there each year? What made you wait so hard? Everyone was a little shocked by this serious battle, and for a while they were a little overwhelmed and silent. Cough. The familiar voice sounded. It was Shu Tian, and this time the logistics department was still leading the team. Don't worry, classmates, these ambulances are basically useless, just in case. Shu Tian said, trying to comfort the classmates. However, you are not fools. Just in case. Need so many ambulances. How could it be possible to put so many useless things in a military powerhouse? The classmates looked at the teacher with a ha-ha face, and their eyes were very clear. Teacher, don't lie to me. Of course, everyone is someone who has experienced the ruins twice, so they won't be frightened by the monsters they haven't met yet. Since everyone already knows that these ambulances are prepared for you, 14. Then you have to think very carefully about what level of difficulty is suitable for you. Shu Tian's voice sounded again. This time it was no longer a perfunctory comfort, but a slightly solemn notification. This relic experience will indeed cause casualties, so everyone, don't be arrogant, don't be arrogant. It's not a shame to choose a simple task. The most important thing is that you are still very young. As long as you live, you will have the opportunity to grow and become stronger in the future. If you lose your life here, it will be a pity. There was once a class of students. Due to the difficulty level of the selected tasks, the casualty rate was as high as 33%. 1 out of every 3 people was injured or killed. So please remember, don't be hot-headed, life is the most important thing. Listening to the teacher's solemn warning, the surrounding students nodded slightly. Originally, there were still students who were overwhelmed by the scoring and rewards and wanted to choose difficult tasks, but they were not taking chances, and planned to choose a simple task directly and experience the experience first. Where the 2 colleges of civilization history and scientific research are located, a teacher is also explaining. Dear classmates, since you entered the university, you have been to the ruins twice. However, this time is the first time that you have truly faced a beast. This experience is also a simulation of the future. In the future, many of you will walk out of the high wall, enter the fog, and face the real beasts of the abyss. So, this is an important opportunity to experience. The task may be a little difficult. However, I believe that with the cooperation of your classmates before, the difficulty of the simple level will definitely be no longer a problem. I hope each of you can have satisfactory results. Go. Enter. Remains. At the entrance of the ruins, the sound of electronic instruments can be heard endlessly. There are all kinds of signal lights, constantly flashing. The students all lined up in long queues, and they were scanned and tested by the military one by one. Only after the detection is correct and there is no abnormality can one enter the ruins. The first classmate, Di Cheng, all tests are normal. Please choose your task difficulty. In front of the passage, a staff member in an officer-style uniform announced his test aloud. In front of him, there is a long queue of students. I choose simple level. The classmate named Di Ching quickly stated his decision. Then, the officer opened the passage door. Behind the door, there is no direct access to the interior of the ruins, but divided into 3 lanes, from left to right correspond to the 3 different levels of difficulty of the task. People entering different trails will also be divided into different batches for transmission. That student Di Ching, under the arrangement of the staff, entered the passage on the far left. Subsequently, military personnel continued to detect and broadcast. Second place, Du Wei, there is no abnormality in all tests. Please choose the difficulty of your task. I choose the easy level. The student named Du Wei replied firmly. After a simple selection procedure, Du Wei also entered the ruins from the leftmost path under the arrangement of the military. The third place, Sun En, the fourth place. Fifth, one classmate after another, under the arrangement of the military, entered the ruins from different passages. Perhaps frightened by the many ambulances parked earlier, the vast majority of students choose simple tasks. In addition, there are team members to further reduce the difficulty. There are also a few who choose the difficulty level, and every time they appear, they will be exclaimed because of the surrounding. Everyone thinks that the difficulty level is too risky, and if something goes wrong, it will cost your life. The 76th student, Shuhang. All tests are normal. Please choose your mission difficulty. Finally, a special name was read from the mouth of the military personnel. For a while, the surrounding noise was slightly quiet. Then, whispering voices came from all directions. He is Shuhang. He won the first place last time. How will you choose this time? Easy level is too cheap. Nightmare level is too scary. I think I will choose hard level. This is a matter of life and life. It's not a matter of losing face and not losing the price. I think it must be simple. Just when everyone was talking about it, Shuhang chose his decision. I choose the monster camp. Nightmare difficulty. Shuhang's voice sounded. As soon as the voice fell, the entrance scene was instantly sensational, and countless uproars came from the 360 places. Damn it, he's crazy. This time it's a physical relic, and it's gone when he dies. This guy overestimates himself. It doesn't matter if the 4th floor of the dream is dead, but this time something happened, but he will take his life. Teacher Shu Tian in front of the crowd also looked a little unnatural, and the muscles at the corners of his mouth twitched. What he said in class is true. I thought he was just trying to escape the harassment of his classmates, and he deliberately made excuses, but he didn't expect to play real. Nightmare level is no joke, and this guy also chose the monster camp. Now I can only bless this guy and hope that his life will be bigger. Teacher Shushan was extremely worried, but Shuhang had already made his choice and could not change it, so he had to make Shuhang better luck. The teacher of the martial arts department sneered when he saw the nightmare level that Shuhang had chosen directly. It's really courting death. I chose the nightmare level directly. At that time, it is estimated that we will not need to take action. However, Shuhang, who heard everyone's reaction, did not waver on his face. Even, I want to laugh a little in my heart. When the time comes, worry about yourselves first. Thinking of this, Shuhang ignored the mocking eyes around him. Walk firmly towards the ruins. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 55. Chapter 55. Chapter 55. Control the Queen of Monsters. In the ruins world, on a desert grassland, stood 2 figures. It was Shuhang and Shu Xiaojia. Before coming in, they agreed to choose a nightmare level task together and teleport together. Now, what should we do? Shu Xiaojia turned her head and looked at Shuhang. She knew before that Shuhang's goal was to conquer the world, so she wanted to ask Shuhang's plans for the next step. Go to a place with me first. Nagumo City. No explanation, no nonsense. Shuhang grabbed Shu Xiaojia and planned to go straight to Nanyan City. This was all planned before he entered the ruins. He is familiar with the complete plot of Godzilla. The world I came to this time was the movie, Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters. And Nagumo City is the starting point of all events. The cause of all the incidents is because of the Emperor's organization, secretly hatching monsters in Nagumo City. The monster they hatched, named Mothra, was the Queen of Monsters, symbolizing motherhood. The purpose of hatching is to control these giant beasts. They secretly study the characteristics of monsters, and want to use scientific means to make these sleeping ancient beasts able to be controlled by humans. In the end, the monarchs did succeed, and they developed an audio transmitter that could simulate the sounds of monsters. And this sonar device that can control the monster is called Oka. However, the sonar instrument, Oka, developed by the Imperial Organization, with great effort, was snatched away by underground mercenaries. In the end, the underground mercenaries used Oka to wake up all the sleeping monsters around the world. Therefore, Shuhang must be the first to get to Nagumo City. You must grab the monster controller, Oka, and at the same time use Oka to control the monster Queen Mothra. Only in this way can he change the direction of the movie's plot and make it move forward according to his own wishes. So, without any nonsense, he grabbed Shu Xiaojia and rushed to Nyan City. Shuhang, I have flying technique. You, hold me, and I'll fly you over there. Shu Xiaojia looked at Shuhang, a little ruddy appeared on her fair face. At the same time, her whole body exuded a strange aura, causing her figure to slowly float. However, Shuhang did not accept it. No, that's too much consumption for you, you can't bear it. Shuhang shook his head. The next second, an aura similar to Shu Xiaojia appeared on his body. Then the body, like Shu Xiaojia, slowly floated up and floated in the air. This is flying technique. Shuhang, you can too. Seeing Shuhang standing in the air, Shu Xiaojia looked shocked. Flying technique, the function looks simple. However, this is an exclusive skill that can only be simulated by king-level masters, walking in the air. Learning is very difficult. If you want to float successfully, you must be able to skillfully control the mysterious Chi field. At the same time, it must be stable enough, otherwise the caster will sway from side to side and easily fall off. Before Shu Xiaojia entered the school, she was instructed by the strong family members, mastered the use of Qi, and after obtaining the exercises, it cost a lot of money and used a lot of resources, so she barely floated. And Shuhang didn't know flying technique in Dreamland Relics before, so he just learned it recently. Doesn't it mean that Shuhang learned the flying technique in just a few days? How can this be? What are you kidding? Shuhang didn't know Shu Xiaojia's inner vibration. I just learned it a few days ago. Isn't it very simple? Something that can be done if you have anger. Come on, you must get to Nagumo City before everyone else, and control the Queen of Monsters. So I can implement the plan. After speaking, Shuhang ignored Shu Xiaojia's shocked gaze and grabbed her. Towards Nagumo City, fly straight away. In the sky, a helicopter is flying forward. Inside the helicopter, there was a family of 6. Among them, there is a little girl about 8 years old who is holding a mobile phone and taking pictures outside the window. Suddenly, the little girl saw 2 figures flying in the air. It was Shuhang who was on his way, and Shu Xiaojia. Suddenly, the little girl shouted in surprise, "Mom, look! Someone is flying outside the window." Hearing this, there was a burst of laughter in the plane. Children, don't lie. The mother-like person looked at the little girl with a doting smile. Really, Mom, if you don't believe me, look. The little girl pointed her finger out the window. Her mother followed her fingers and found no figure, nothing. Then, her mother touched the little girl's head. You read it wrong, it's a bird. The little girl shook her head. Firmly he said, it's really a person. I really saw it. Then, he looked out the window again with a depressed expression. In a rainforest in Nagumo City, there is a hidden underground base. Here is the Underground Research Institute where the Imperial Organization secretly studies giant monsters. In the base, one by one hole, extending in all directions. There are constantly soldiers patrolling around. In the center of the base, where all the holes are connected, there is a huge circular steel frame. Inside the circular steel frame, there is a giant beast egg several meters high, and the beast egg is slowly surging, as if a creature inside is constantly rolling. This egg is the Queen of Monsters, Mothra, the larva. In a certain room of the base, all kinds of electronic instruments are running, making beeping sounds constantly. In a room full of electronic equipment, a woman is carefully observing various data on the computer. She's a scientist for the Imperial Organization, Emma. The current data is all normal. The beast egg Mothra is about to hatch successfully. Emma smiled slightly at the gradually rising data. Suddenly, the center of the base. The beast egg, which was several meters high, began to wriggle continuously. The surface of the egg is being continuously pulled, and gaps appear. Around the beast eggs, soldiers stood by with guns in both hands. With a roar, the beast egg was pulled out a huge crack. Then, a giant monster in the shape of a larva crawled out of the egg and looked around nervously without acting rashly. The surrounding soldiers also raised their guns at the newly hatched beast to prevent accidents. Suddenly, with a bang, a soldier's gun went off. Immediately afterwards, an electric light hit the Mothra larva, who was watching the crowd nervously. In an instant, the Mothra larva, which had not moved much before, went berserk. Swinging everywhere, spinning frantically. The circular steel frame that originally surrounded it was twisted and deformed by Mothra. In the steel frame corridor, many people who were running were thrown out by the violently shaking steel frame, fell to the ground, and fractured their hands and feet. Its huge size slammed around, the walls were smashed, and the stones flew. There were many soldiers around, who were killed by the splashing stones and vomiting blood. At the same time, the spinning silk that was constantly spewing out of his mouth, from time to time, stuck the soldiers who surrounded it to the wall. The sound of gunshots kept ringing. The soldiers fired frantically, with lightning flashes. One after another electric light shot towards Mothra at a rapid speed, and sparks splashed all over his body. However, conventional weapons have absolutely no effect on this behemoth. Inside the base, everything was messed up by giant beasts. Everyone started to step back, with panic in their expressions. They don't know how to subdue this runaway beast. Suddenly, the scientist Emma in the room appeared in front of the monster Mothra, holding a suitcase in her hand. That's the monster Good King's controller she's meticulously researching, Oka. At this moment, Emma wanted to use the orca she just developed to control this behemoth. Holding the monster controller, Oka, Emma walked towards the monster Mothra step by step. Dodging the flying stones, Emma staggered to the front of the Mothra larva. Just about to turn on the monster controller, Mothra's huge head slammed into Emma fiercely. Boom! Mothra's head hit where Emma was, and a deep pit was knocked out of the ground. Emma's body was violently thrown out by Mothra, and with a bang, it hit the ground with a trace of blood spilling from the corner of her mouth. The monster controller also flew out of Emma's hands and was thrown high into the air. And then quickly fell straight down. Emma looked desperate. Oka, the controller that she had high hopes for, was kicked out before it started to function. If it falls to the ground, the controller that was finally developed is estimated to be scrapped directly. Sudden, the controller, Oka, which fell fiercely, was firmly grasped by a hand. Then, two figures floating in the air appeared in everyone's field of vision. It is Shuhang and Shu Shaojia.